I'm here with Dr. Gregory Sterling, Dean of the Yale Divinity School. Dean Sterling is the author, editor, or co-editor of 7 books and more than 70 scholarly articles and essays. In addition to leading the Yale Divinity School, he has held leadership positions in many other organizations, including the Society of Biblical Literature, the Catholic Biblical Association, and the Churches of Christ. Thank you, Dean Sterling, for joining us today.
Thank you, Brian, for the invitation. I'm delighted to participate.
As you know, Frederick Beekman will soon be turning 90 years old. Is there anything you would like to wish him for this great milestone?
I hope that you have a great sense of accomplishment in doing something that I think is absolutely vital in our present circumstances. I think back to the time when you first went to Exeter and what you accomplished there by establishing a program and making religion, and Christianity in particular, appealing and viable for people who are not really people of faith. And I think that's a remarkable achievement that has not only occurred at Exeter, but then you have repeated in your works throughout your life, and it's the great challenge we face today. So I salute you for a lifetime of achievement.
Thank you very much, Greg. I'm sure Mr. Beekman will greatly appreciate hearing from you. Next, can you tell me how you first learned about his work?
Well, I think like most of us, he's such a famous author. He's written more than 30 books. So we encountered him through his books. I don't remember the first book of his, but to say that he is widely read at Yale Divinity School is something of an understatement. I checked with our bookstore, and we have had as many as 26 different titles of his in our own bookstore.
That's wonderful. Great to hear. What do you think most attracts people to his writing?
I think it's his literary ability combined with the message that he has. I want to tell one story. This is more about his skills as a homiletician, but they're also directly related to his writing skills. A friend of mine who is one of the most distinguished homileticians in the United States today, is famous and is himself a very popular author, told me that he was invited to speak at a church in the Midwest, or maybe this was a university. I do not remember, I'm sorry. But he was invited to speak. It was a large assembly, and this woman came up to him beforehand and said, "I want you to know that I have driven across 2 states to be here. I love what you write, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here." And he was quite moved by that because she had, in fact, driven a very long distance. And when everything was over, she came up to him and said, "You're not Frederick Beekman. Who are you?" And he said, "I had been so pleased by her enthusiasm before and was quite humbled by the realization that she thought I was someone else." But it's a testament to Mr. Buechner's widespread appeal and the impact that he's had, not only on people at divinity schools like ours, but on people who are, we would say, lay readers, but just the interested general public. He's had an enormous impact.
That's a great story. Thank you, Greg. How would you say Mr. Buechner's writing has influenced your students there?
Well, I think in a couple of ways. First, I think that he's read here for his homiletic skills. His works are actually used in some of our homiletics classes, but he's also used in some of our courses on religion and literature, and then he's used in other courses where people want to illustrate the impact of religion on literature, Christianity in particular. So I would say, primarily in homiletics and then in literature here at the Divinity School, but I wouldn't restrict it to that. I think it's also a broader appeal.
Which of his books would you say has meant the most to you or your students there?
Well, I can't speak for all the students, and I actually don't know which has sold the most copies through our bookstore. I have to say, if I were to speak personally, I think his 4 books on Mr. Bibb were significant because they represent the ability to enter a world that is different than our own, but to do so with sensitivity and to describe that world in ways that help us to appreciate it.
That's wonderful. Thank you. More broadly speaking, what influence would you say that Mr. Buechner has had on Christianity and the world at large?
Well, I think he is one of the most significant writers who have written from a distinctly Christian perspective. Today, I think Marilyn Robinson has done something like what Mr. Beekman has done in his life, although she hasn't written nearly as much as Mr. Beekman. And I would say that our own Chris Wyman is somebody who's also cut from the same mold, although Chris is primarily a poet rather than a prose writer. But what Mr. Buechner did was to make Christianity appealing in a way that was not doctrinaire. It didn't focus on things that people needed to believe in as much as it told stories. And people could relate to that. And I think that that contribution is of fundamental importance. One of the things that the group that we know as the nuns say today is that too many churches are focused on what they believe rather than on people. And I think what Mr. Buechner's done in his works is to keep the horse in front of the cart, if I may use an old expression, and to focus on Christianity as a lived phenomenon.
I realize this next question is difficult, but if you were to sum up Fred or his works in a few words, what would you say?
I think I would say that in his literary works and in his homilies, he has established a standard for elegance and acumen in writing and in thinking that makes Christianity meaningful to a wide range of people. And it's for that that I salute him.
Well, that's a great insight, Greg. I know he will appreciate that. Before we finish, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I just would say happy birthday. From all of us at Yale Divinity School, you have an honorary degree from Yale University. We're proud to claim you as one of our own, and I hope that you know that you are still being read here by students with a great deal of profit, and I think of the famous phrase of Horace, with profit and delight. And I think that's what you have managed to achieve in your works. And for that reason, you will continue to be read. So from all of us, thank you for all that you have done. And we wish you ad multus annos.
Well, Dean Sterling, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful interview, and I know Mr. Beekman will appreciate it greatly. Thanks again.
Thanks, Brian. Nice to be with you.